Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Waylon Wire's Old Iron. Had a bunch of appointments in town this week and I didn't get as much done on the old red truck as I wanted to, but I did take a few more bites of the elephant. I got those cab corners done. Well, I got them cut out, pour 15 and the pieces cut to patches to go in, and I'm going to let that pour 15 set overnight and then I'll weld them up tomorrow. So we did get that done, and a few other little things around here. Let's take a look. You know, I'm not a mechanic, and I'm not a car builder. I'm just an old redneck having a good time banging around on this rusty old iron. So buckle up and hang on. Let's see what's going to happen next around here.
So Waylon, let's see if that V12 doesn't burn out, or maybe you got something else. I don't know.
Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. Well, fellers and fellerettes, I'm afraid I won't be able to join you this evening because I'm going to be welding. It's 4:30, and I just got to the shop, and I'm going to be out here all evening. I've got to finish welding up that other side over there. I've got to make a patch to go in that hole right there, and then I got to weld in that brace, and I've got to weld this up, and Harmon's put some arrows on here for me. There's some cracks that I got to weld, and I got to weld these holes up, and I've got to weld all of these holes up that are in the top of this bed rail because they're not on the other bed rail. So we want them to slightly match. And I gotta cut this out and put this gas door in at some point too. But yeah, right now I'm going to get this thing on the lift and fire up some ZZ Top or some Kentucky Headhunters or some type of welding music, and I'm gonna get to crack-a-lacking. So I guess I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later on, because I know you don't want to watch me do all that. I don't even want to watch me do it all, but somebody's got to do it. Well, I keep telling you guys that I'm almost done with this thing, but then I'm not. I know everybody's getting tired of it. That last video I did is performing the worst 10th out of 10 places. The worst that any video has done in a long time. With about 4,000 hits in an allotted amount of time, where it usually has about 6 by now. And I'm tired of working on that red truck. I tell you what, I've had a lot more fun working on this thing. Bringing this old thing back to life. I like doing that, you know, these old rigs. And this has been a lot more fun than working on that red truck over there. But it all has to be done. Anyway, one thing I did get done today is, well, I got my tires mounted yesterday. Look at those babies. Yes, sir, buddy. That'll do the trick. But I did get title transferred today, and I got this farm exempt tag. That costs $5, and I don't have to buy tabs for it anymore, or ever. I can drive it in a 25-mile radius from its registered address. You know, I could run it into town and get gas at least. And I don't intend on driving it on the highway very much, because I've still got some slack in that front end. I'm going to try and adjust that box and see how much I can get out of it, but the box is staying put. It's not jumping around anymore, and I want to reinforce that frame horn. I know these things are known to fail on these snowplow rigs, these little half tons, you know. So Harmon said every one he's ever fixed or found with a cracked frame was one that had a snowplow on it. But yeah, I got my exempt tag on there, and I'm pretty happy about that. The whole transfer title and the new plates, the new title coming, and that farm exempt, and then the sales tax on it. It cost me $92 for the whole works. So can't complain about that too much. But I'm still going here. In order to put my new tires on, I need to go ahead and swap this other hub out, which that's been my plan all along. So I think I'm about ready to jump into that. And I don't know. You guys keep telling me that no matter what I'm doing, you'll watch, and I appreciate that. And but yet the views are way down. So there's 12 of you that'll watch no matter what I do. and I appreciate you 12. But one guy, somebody commented, said, typically the wires for those lights go on the inside of the cab, because I got the wires, knowing I just hooked it up just for giggles, and we just ran the wire outside. And yeah, if you must be new around here if you think we're going to do anything the right way. But there were some good comments. People got a kick out of my floor pan and all that. So we're just having fun. I was just that last video in the beginning of it, I was did that thing about talking about the difference between an axle and an axle housing and all that. And that was all tongue in cheek, because Mr. Heavy Chevy and I had been on the phone prior to that, and we were joking around. He was telling me, because I told him a lot of people were concerned about the differential ratio difference when I hadn't even touched the differential, but yet a lot of concerns about it. And he said, well, you should get a whiteboard and a pointing stick, and I said, yeah, and a white lab coat, and put up a picture of an axle, and then say, this is an axle and this is an axle housing. And so we were just joking around about that. So at the beginning of that last video, I was just having a little bit of fun. You guys don't ever take me serious, because I don't. I mean, obviously I'm the problem here. I mean, look at this. This is all my doing, so, and I know at the end of the day, the people that are concerned about the gear ratios and all that, I know they're just looking out for me, and Lord knows I need all the looking out for that I can possibly get. So I was just having some fun with you guys in that intro last time. But anyway, I'll probably have some more fun with you. Right now, I'm not having much fun, because while I was under there putting that tie rod in, I discovered that, boy, the brake lines are really bad on this thing. Really bad. And my driveway is not a place to have real bad brake lines. Yeah, I can always drop the blade, That's my one redeeming value of this thing. But the brakes work fine right now. They'll work fine until they don't, until one of them rusty old lines blows. So as I go along, I'll keep fixing things up a little bit. I'll do, that at least the front brake line, and I still need to get those cables unwound under there. They're all crumpled up for the brake, for the parking brake, and I need to get that straightened out, because sometimes I like to leave it neutral and jump out for a minute and do something, unlock the gate or whatever. But yeah, she's little Jill, so she just keeps coming along, and I am going to rip into this thing now and do that hub swap. I have to change out the backing plate and the whole deal. At any rate, I like those Warren hubs a lot better than these things. So that's what I'm going to put on. And even though it's an 8-lug, it's still a half-ton truck. And my tires are mounted on 8-lug wheels. And one guy commented and said verbatim what I had told a friend of mine just yesterday. He said exactly the same words that I did. I said, I'm gonna, when I throw my scrap metal, I usually throw it out the back door. But I said, from now on, I'm gonna throw my scrap metal in the back end of this thing all winter when I'm cutting and welding and all that. And then in the spring, I can just take it up to the scrapyard and sell it to them, sell them a load. So this is where all my scrap metal is going to go from now on. And I got a couple of rear ends in there, and one guy was looking at this fifth wheel's set up. And he said, boy, that's an antique. You know, and I don't care its weight. That's all I care about. So, you guys buckle up and bear with me. I'm going to continue on working on this thing a little bit more. And yeah, I am gonna put a switch on that light up there. I don't want to listen to that thing all the time. But we are legal. I made this socket the other night when I had no gas from my welder, so it ain't pretty, but it will do the job. Forgot that stinking jack. Why didn't you one of you guys say something? You guys let me do that all the time. Boy, she sits up there just right now. Yeah, I like the looks of those tires. Well, I've gathered up some parts. This is a burnt breather bottom from the old red Chevy that caught on fire last spring, and I bought a filter, and I've got a lid here. I'm gonna build myself a breather of sorts. And yeah, I'd like to keep going on this rig, but because I have that emergency brake cable, parking brake cable, whatever you want to call it, to do. I need to get that sorted out. But as Joshua keeps telling me, I need to work on this red truck. I've just got to keep going on this thing. I got to put a floor pan in this, so I guess that's next. I keep telling you guys I'm gonna, not be videoing much of this, but this is what's going on right now. And most of you keep saying, well, hey, whatever you're doing, we'll watch, and I get a lot of people saying they appreciate the videos and enjoy them. So I don't know. This last video I put up was performed the worst out of probably the last 40 videos I put up. So I don't know. Anyway, I got to do what I got to do around here. And when I get this thing caught up to a place where I can't do any more until Harmony comes back, well, then I'll be free to do something else. But I can't have this hanging over me. I got to get it done. So I'm going to commence to working on that floor patch panel. Just call me Patches. Well, it's Sunday evening. A little bit of update. I got this other floor panel cut out and put in, and I got the cab braces welded in underneath, patched in. Did 415 treatment, top and bottom on both sides. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is, there's just a little bit of play. It's not much, but I'm going to replace these pins because now's the time to do it. It's just minute. It's very little, but a little bit adds up. So yeah, now's the time. So I'm going to do that. But I do have another rig in the shop tonight, believe it or not. It's not mine, but customer states that front wheel wobbles, and I think it might have something to do with the camber. I'm just guessing. Just guessing. We've got a bit of a camber issue there. Yeah, that axle's broke. That wheel actually broke off just riding home. It was bent like that, and on the way home it broke off. So I'm going to take a couple dents out of it, put something in there and kind of straighten that out. Yeah, there goes the wheel. So and fix that axle, and I'm sure the owner will have it restored to perfection, I'm sure. But that's not my gig. I don't do perfection. I do stuff like that. Anyway, this will be a nice break. Why make this so hard? Oh, I just give it a minute. I can see what I'm doing. It'll still be hard. I'm getting serious punch. I believe you need a bigger hammer there, Waylon. That one's gonna slip off. Oh, nice. Down in that fender somewhere. Like that, I guess. Oh no! Well, they sure like to jump down that fender. Oh, I did. Huh. Harmon, you didn't tell me you lost that. Alright, I'll repeat that on the other side, and I'll have a nice little chore out of the way. Well, the ones on this side decided to get tough with me, so I just got tough right back with them. Just like that. Tough with me, buddy. Well, I just got off the phone with the owner of this vehicle, and he's going to have it all taken apart and all restored and painted and everything. So I'm not going to do much with it. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, weld this bolt on there, and then he'll have an axle, and I think that's all he wants right now. Highball, camber, caster, toe in, everything looks about right. I'm not gonna body work this thing. I'm just gonna make it so the chain will work. Maybe. It's gonna have to have a whole new piece of metal on there. Well, I knocked a few dents out of it, but that chain guard's going to have to be replaced. It's a new piece of metal, and I'm not going to get that deep into it. Anyway, I got it so you can drive it, John. They're gonna have to tighten up your steering wheel a little bit. Somebody's put a wing nut on it. Yeah, it needs a little work. Just a little. It's one of those collapsible steering wheel. That's a safety thing. Okay, I think that's it. Well, I guess the next order of business is to tear into these cab corners. Maybe you can see where that's bubbling up there. So I got some rust in there, and I can see it back here. So I don't think it goes up too high. The cab corners are laying up in the bed of this thing, I think. I've got them though. I've got the patch failed, yeah. Yeah, there they are right there. Anyway, I've got those, so that's the next thing I'm going to do. But that lift arm is right square in the way. And then when I get those done, well then, if Harmon's not back, well then I might get to play hooky a little bit. Might get to play with something. I keep threatening to bring something else in here, and then I never can get to it because I'm still tied up with this thing. But I'm hoping to be free of this for a few days maybe and do something else. So we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna get into that today, I think. Well, I've made an executive decision. If I put that arm right there, I'm gonna cut part of this gas tank cover away, and I can pick it up, pick the frame up here, and I've got 2 stands, hoist stands, that I'll put on the back of this thing. And I'm not going to pick it up that high, and besides that, I'm not going to be underneath it. So I'm going to see how that works out. Let me cut that thing off. I think that'll be good. And the other side, until I get over there, I can go ahead and leave it extended out toward the back. I'll have to pull that out just a little bit, but I think that'll work. And I'll put my hoist stands under the back end. Let's see what it looks like. I'll get over there and set that arm. Okay, I got that at a comfortable level to work on, and I got both my hoist stands back here under the back end. And it's pretty solid, and I'm not going to be under it anyway, but we don't want it to fall again. It's not going to. It's good. It's those extensions are still locked into the frame, so it can't get anywhere. I'm going to start grinding that out and see what I got in there, see what I'm working with. Well, I guess you guys can see there's a lot of Bondo in there.
When we give him the car back, he drives it.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Well, that's what I got out of that cab corner. That's backing that was behind the speaker in there, some batting in there, but all this was in there. If I had started welding on this thing, I most assuredly would have had a fire inside the cab. Now, we don't need any more of that, do we? Well, I got that piece fitting in there pretty good. Now that I've learned how it comes apart, I'll do the other side differently. I am no body man, I'll tell you. I don't aspire to be either, but I've got that fitting pretty good. And I'm going to go to the other side and cut that one out too, because behind that, on the main cab corner, there's just some surface rust in there, and I'm going to brush that real good. Well, I've already brushed it. I'm going to put some Pour 15 in there before I weld that up. And I don't know if this side is as bad. Probably. Harmon, yeah, it's just as bad. Look at the bubble there, bubble there. I even got into that rocker a little bit. I'm going to have to cut a piece and put into that rocker. But it's bad here, and it's bad all the way back here. So there's even a bubble up there. I'll be able to drill that one out and weld it, but I may as well, since I've got it, I may as well use it. So I'll cut this way up here somewhere. I thought this would be less work, but it's going to be more. Anyway, that's the way it goes. First your money, then your clothes. So I'm going to, I think, yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and cut that other side out and get that piece fit. And then I'll Pour 15, let that dry overnight, and come back and weld that up tomorrow. I think that's the plan. Okay, I got this other one fitting up pretty good, good enough to weld up. And Got a little gap there so I can weld, and I got to take a little bit more off. I got to take a little bit more off right there so I can have a little gap in there. Thank you. It's a little tight, but I'm going to stop now and pour 15 both sides and let that sit overnight. I will weld these corners on tomorrow, and they'll be ready for Harmon. Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna go in tonight. It's 10 o'clock. I gotta get up early tomorrow. Things to do. You know, I got bursitis in this shoulder so bad that I can't get out of my coveralls. So what I have to do is I have to fasten my sleeve down in the vise, clamp it down so I can, oh, ouch, crawl out of my coveralls. That's some Marky rigging, ain't it? All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And until I see you next time, I sure do appreciate you. We'll see you soon right here on Waylon Myers' Old Iron.